Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
Medianoche.
Podcast.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
1 2 1 2. Oh yeah, we're back. What's up, y'all? Medianoche podcast. Bright and early. Have you had your café con leche today? I have. Panther coffee. Step your game up, man. Cause y'all have some café con leche, and I tried it, and it's okay, but it could be much better. You need to get some abuelitas in there. Anyway, what's up, y'all? It's Art Morera. Welcome to another episode of the Medianoche podcast. This is episode 24. The homie that I have today, I've spoken with him. I've spoken with you like back and forth a little bit on social media, but then you showed up to this open mic that I just threw, and man, you're very cool, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. I got Ed Vogt here.
What up?
You doing all right, man?
Excellent.
Thanks for the coffee, bro.
Had to come through with the coffee.
It's that in Little Haiti, there's not that many Cuban spots that make real café con leche. So, like, you know how it is, like, these like Starbucks and Panther Coffee, they really try to adapt.
Yeah, they need to adapt their prices.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's true, man, because, listen, when you go to, like, a little cafeteria, like, the café con leche there is, like, bro, $1.50.
Yep.
You know? But anyway, so look, bro, so you do visuals.
Yes.
You know? You do visuals, and you have an extensive resume, as I can tell from what you've told me. On the humble, too. You just be throwing these little names out there like, yeah, I just did something for blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working with Scratch Academy for the past, 5 years. Shot a couple of events for them. Usually shoot their graduation events and their Scratch Summit events, which they have once a year. They have all the dopest DJs come through, around March, usually the middle of March. And I usually shoot those events, and the last dope shit that I shot was the Mayday video. I shot some drone footage for them, so that was fun.
Yep, shout out to Mayday.
Yeah, that was a good experience. So.
What is your favorite type of shooting out of all the categories? You got music videos, commercials, recap videos.
I do like the recap videos, man, because they give you a chance to be creative on your own tip. Like, you pick the music, get your B-roll, get your shots. And
do you think also it's because like you catch like little Kodak moments?
Yes, I like candid stuff. So like, I'm not big on posing people up. Even though when you're shooting events for photography or video, you want to get those shots of the important people that are there and them standing in front of the banner and everything, like saying peace. But I'm usually like back in the cut, getting the candid moments of people enjoying themselves, people having fun. And when it comes to photography, same thing. You're at a wedding, you're at a party, people are laughing it up, and I'm back there in the cut just snapping.
Word. Yeah, man, one thing that I got to give you props for, because you came through to this open mic that I just threw. Like, to all the listeners out there, I know if you've been in the loop with what I've been saying each episode, I've been talking about this PA system that I got, and I'm like, yeah, one of these days I'll do something with it. And then I decided to throw an open mic to bring some attention to the New Yorker boutique hotel here. And you came through, man.
I had to.
You came through, and you was like, you was low-key stunting on everybody with your camera gear,
Yep. Yep, you got to get those moments. And, I appreciate you putting on, this platform for all these people to come through. You hear different music, different MCs, not only rappers, there's people singing, guitar, spoken word.
What was his name? Psychic Dove.
Psychic Dove.
Yeah.
Yep, that was dope. I mean, like, to give a platform for people to come through and express themselves, it's not everybody that gets to go to to perform somewhere like Churchill's or the Arena or get put on somewhere. So for you to give them a place to practice and express themselves, that's really dope. So I had to come through to the first one because I felt like this might be the beginning of something really special.
You think so? I mean, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, sometimes, bro, when you do something to benefit other people, like, you might walk away with less than what they walked away with, but like at that point is when you realize, yo, it's bigger than what I can gain from it, you know?
It's kind of like planting a seed. You know, you plant the seed and then you don't know what the trees are going to look like when it grows, but it's growing, you know, and you planted that seed that night when that event happened, you know, I guarantee you there's going to be more people at the next one.
It's like, yo, what tree is this? And the guy looks at you and says, sour diesel.
Hey, fire.
Okay, word. I like this.
But yeah, I mean, those type of events, you know, I met people that I've never met. I heard things that I've never heard, and I enjoyed it. And it was a good camaraderie there. Like everybody kind of knew each other from back in the day, or you made new friends. Whatever the story was with anybody, like it was just nothing but positive vibes. That's all I can say.
That's cool. I appreciate you coming through. But one thing that I am thankful that I truly appreciate is how charismatic and on the ball you were with, like, because you put it upon yourself to like just capture footage. You get me?
Yeah.
And like even though you can make money off of that, money can't truly buy that.
Nah, we documented, like, I look at it as like almost documenting history. You know, like I go to a lot of these hip hop shows and I have a lot of footage that probably people haven't seen, but I have like some footage from the J Dilla event like 2 years ago, and it's on my YouTube channel. And I've showed it to people, and they were like, "Yo, like this is like." When I left that event, I was like, "Yo, I think I just captured a little piece of like history." You know, we had so many artists. You know, J Electronica, all the local artists. Craze had a 6 set. Afro was there. Little brother. I mean, it was so many people there. That, you know, to look back, you know, you play those videos now and you're like, damn, this was a moment. This was a dope moment. Now, it wasn't Little Brother, it was Slum Village.
Well, bro, Serum put this picture up of him and Solo Man Spectrum.
Yes.
And like you took the photo,
yes.
And that photo was
2005.
Like, 2005. We're talking about like 13 years.
That's
ago.
what I'm saying. Like those are little pieces of history. A little point and shoot camera. You know?
It's crazy how long you just. The thing is, man, is that like, bro, when the hip hop scene was how it was during that time, I would like to think that I was really involved, you know. And even though as involved as I was, I didn't know everybody. Come to find out, I just started talking with you like not even a month ago. But you've been involved in this thing for over a decade, you know.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how that works.
I mean, I moved here from New York. I moved back and forth a lot as a kid. But in the early 2000s, I got here in 2000, 2001, around that time, and the scene was really dope. I mean, Mind Shift and Maneuvers had their show on FIU. Sharp Sound was doing his thing. These are all local people that, you know, that we all know what they're doing now. But it's really dope to see like the progression of what everybody has become almost 20 years later.
Yeah.
And to be there in the beginning and see it all progress and go have its ups and downs and see how things spread out. It's really interesting. You know, I've been to hundreds of shows. I mean, hundreds of shows. I have pictures from the Def Jux 07, I think it was 05. I think it was also 05. And it was like, bro, Aesop, Mr. Lift, Cage, 7 Star, Recognized performed. I mean, I have pictures from that show, and it's like you look back and you're like, wow. You know, this is a long time ago, man. And
you know, you mentioned Def Jux, and then you mentioned like Recognize. I remember. I don't mean to turn this into like some gossip shit, but like, I mean, it is a podcast, so I guess it's cool to just discuss certain things. But like, Run the Jewels had just performed in South Florida not too long ago.
I was there,
and like LP shouted out Recognize on stage. Shout out to Recognize, and like, it was on his IG.
Yep, I was there.
And like, at first, you know, if one doesn't know, they would just think, oh, he's probably just a fan of Rec, or they just chopped it up. Come to find out, you're telling me these stories with these guys that actually go back.
Yeah, actually, I actually just found out. I was on the Miami Underground podcast. I mean, with DUI even on Monday, and George over there was telling me that LP requested for Recognize to perform at that party. So that, I mean, this is back then. And then, if I remember correctly, I believe Recognize performed a track on a Blockhead beat that is somewhere on the internet. You can find it. It's out there. But there's a dope ass Recognized Blockhead track.
You know, like, sometimes, like, I like to, you know, the law of attraction, you know? Like, I know some people might not be crazy about
The Secret.
Yeah, The Secret. But, like, I actually, man, I've manifested a lot in my life, bro. and other things I'm struggling to like really bring it to fruition. But one thing that I really want to see happen is Run the Jewels tours with Mayday opening.
Yeah, that would be a good combo.
It fits, right?
Yeah, it definitely would work. That the energy.
Yeah.
You know, that Run the Jewels show at the Fillmore, when the intro came on, I've been to a lot of shows, dude, and that was. I think also the thing that has to do with it is the age and the work that these guys have put in. Like specifically, I was more, LP, Def Jux, and watching this guy come up. The first time I heard LP, I was like, 97, 98. And to see the career go the way that it went and Def Jux the way that it went. And then I met LP in 2012, and I was like, yo.
Are you about to tell me that story you told me at the open mic?
No, I saw him.
Because I want to hear that story again. I'm not going to lie.
Which one?
The one about how the tattoo and shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was what George told me that from that when I met George, I was wearing a shirt with the Def Jux logo. And he's like, dude, I went with LP the night before the show that we were just talking about to get that tattooed on him. And it's a very obscure shirt. So, like, that if somebody sees that symbol and they recognize it, they're an underground head. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he was like, yo, what's that on your shirt? And I was like, dude, this is old school Def Jux that they still sell on the Run the Jewels website. But, like, I have, like, 3 of them. My wife always gets me a new one. Like, they fade out. I get another one. I got to replace it because it's like, I don't know, that music, it had a certain impact on me, you know?
Yeah, me too.
And a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I love rock. I love rocking all their shit. I love rocking the Run the Jewels logo. I don't care. Like, I love that shit. Just the same way I love Wu-Tang, I'll rock that shit. I'm almost 40 years old. I still rock that shit, And yeah, like, it's just weird how all these things affect all of us that listen, listening to Def Jux or seeing that show. That when I did meet LP, I told him, this is what I told him. I had 10 seconds to talk to LP. I was like, dude, I saw you on Letterman. This is in 2012. I was like, that's crazy. I was like, that was, I'm really happy for you, bro. And he was like, bro, thank you. He was very humble, because you wouldn't think to see an underground MC or rapper producer dude on Letterman or a night show,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You're doing something, like, it's just a step for your career. When you get on those platforms, it's a different. You're getting noticed by a different audience.
Isn't it a little funny when you see like the most like purest underground hip hop heads getting national recognition? Like, it almost seems a little like does it make sense to have this guy there, because it almost goes against what the fans prefer the setting to be. Maybe he should have had David Letterman like hang out in an alley with him, and then he'll perform the songs there. I
don't know. I get happy. Like, sometimes seeing things like, I think Wu-Tang is a good example, because when I was a kid, my parents would be like, Wu-Tang forever. Like, are you kidding me? Wu-Tang's not forever. The Beatles and Santana and the Rolling Stones are forever. And what they're not realizing is that Wu-Tang is our Rolling Stones. Like, they had their impact on the culture, and they're still around now. They have good music, they have bad music, but the reality is, dude, when you turn on the TV and you put on The View and you see Method Man, I don't get mad. Like, it's people are like hating, like, yo, dude, that dude's on The View. It's like, bro, these guys came from nothing, And RZA, makes a movie, and it's fucking, you might like it, you might not like it, but they give him a $15 million budget to make a movie. And that's coming from nothing, and it's really good to see that stuff, because it lets me feel that, anything can happen.
I think that it's just that hip hop kind of got a bad rap, no pun intended. Like, hip hop got a bad rap because every other genre of music is instrumentation, natural composition of instrumentation, and here comes hip hop where these guys are just completely out of the box. Mm-hmm. Like rapping over just scratched vinyl, and they just didn't know how to accept that as equally creative. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's changed now. It's becoming more,
No, yeah, it's been.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's all commercialized and everything. But yeah, at the time,
I feel like I'm talking about 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, man, that's crazy. Like, you here at this last open mic that I just did, like, you were telling me about some other crazy stories, man. You kind of gave me a very quick life story about like how much history you have and like being involved and present in like how underground hip hop was in Miami, bro. Yeah. Like, would you mind telling me some more stories, man?
I don't know anything specifically. I mean, a big show was that Def Jux show. What you're referring to is the story I was telling you about the I think it was Infiltrate 3.0 or something like that, which was Churchill's March of 2001. And I actually won free tickets and a shirt signed through Mind Shift and Maneuvers through their radio show, through like a little trivia that they had with Cannibal Ox was there.
Fire.
And so I get to the show, and this is my first time meeting Jake, Jake and Maneuvers. And it was so funny because I walk in, and they're like, yo, let me introduce you to some people, And Mr. Lift was there, Aesop was there, Scam was there. It was a lot of artists. And I met Aesop for the first time, and I was like, dude, like, I've never seen your face, Back then it wasn't, I don't know. Like, it wasn't, I mean, we had internet, but I just listened to him on a tape, Yeah,
and also, like, underground artists didn't have, like, they didn't market their music with their face. All their albums were like artwork.
Yeah, I mean, he had pictures out on the internet. It wasn't one of those things that it just related to the music. It was like, oh, Float was out. Labor Days, I don't even think had come out yet. So I meet Aesop, and I'm like, dude, like, I don't even know what you look like. This is bugged out, meeting you. And he's like, yeah, LP sent us here. And I was like, what? Like, why? I didn't put it together because Def Jux hadn't started yet. So looking back now, like, I looked up, I have a shirt. It's signed by it's like 5Ds, Mr. Lift, Aesop, Cannibal Ox. It's a shirt. I still have it at my crib. And yeah, their logo is there. But back then, it wasn't something that you would even recognize because it didn't. It was just starting.
That is nuts.
Yeah. So it was like,
that's
man,
fucking wild.
Yeah. So it was. I didn't understand. Like, I was so confused. He was like, yeah. LP sent us here. He was supposed to come, but he couldn't come through. And I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't realize why LP would send Aesop and Mr. Lift somewhere, but we all know now, they had a label and had it there 10 years, and it was a great run.
And, like, arguably, man, like, when you think about underground, indie underground hip hop, because, like, people confuse indie and underground. You could be independent, but you don't have the underground style. Once upon a time, Rockefeller was, obviously independent, but they didn't sound underground. It was definitely, like, underground hip hop is like the abstract, artsy,
Yeah.
It
was that. Well, back then it was like backpacker.
Yeah.
Backpacker
I mean, like,
hip-hop.
you mentioned like Cannibal Ox. Like, man, I still bump the Cold Vein, bro. Like, you's a stillborn baby. Mama didn't want you, but you was stillborn. Like, Vast Air was just on some other shit, man.
Yep.
And, like, bro, like, to hear these stories, like, man.
Yeah, they're just little backstories, and I always was back in the cut and just like going to these shows and going to all the like I was telling you earlier about Mayday and Aboriginal and all that stuff, and seeing all that stuff happen, and then seeing the success that they have now. It's really dope to see the progression and see the different paths that people have carved out for themselves. And it wasn't until 5-6 years ago that I started getting into videography and photography and stuff like that. I mean, I always had a little point and shoot. Always had. I went to Rock the Bells 2007 in New York. Wow. Got to see Rage, Wu-Tang. And they had two separate stages. They had an underground stage and like the commercial stage. And if I went through the lineup, it was basically like I was bumping into people there from high school here in Miami. Like, yo, did you go to Sunset? Like, yeah, I went to Sunset. Like, yo, I know. And I'm in New York with 50,000 people, and people like grabbing me out of the crowd. Like, yo, I went to school with you. The lineup, somebody grabbed me and said, yo, this is like hip hop heaven. And the headliners on the main stage, it was like I said, Rage and Wu-Tang, but like it was like Rakim, Boot Camp, Pharoah Monch, Black Star. Like Mos Def did a set, Kweli did a set, and then they both came out as Black Star. And it's like, that was the big stage. The underground stage was Sage Francis, Brother Ali, Atmosphere, Cage, all these artists. So it was hard to pick a stage, but I was like looking back and seeing like Public Enemy on the big screen playing with Anthrax, Cypress Hill.
Crazy.
And then I'm like looking at Cage and all the underground heads, and it was one of the dopest shows I ever been to. A big festival, 12 hours of just pure hip hop,
like, man, when I had DJ EFN here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like he was talking about how like Miami is like a B class market, where like all these artists that you mentioned, they don't really be coming to Miami that much. They'll like they'll hit up like Orlando or like Tampa, then they'll turn back around and go to the rest of the country. And I feel like if more people, like, I'm excited to go to the Atmosphere show in November.
I was gonna bring them up right now when you said that
in Revolution. But if they did more shows down here, then I feel like the audience, the people here that are open to like getting into that music will be more enthused about it because they can frequent it more often. But like since nobody really be coming down here, the consumers,
I think it's hard
logistically.
Logistically, it's tough. Atmosphere, I've been to probably like 8 shows, 10 just Atmosphere shows, and they came to the first time I saw them was back in those days. I think Serum might have performed at that show, or I definitely was chilling with Serum at that show. But that was like the early 2000s. That was a Miami Atmosphere show, and they never came back for years. And I had driven to St. Pete to see them.
Yeah,
I had driven to Orlando to see them, and then they came back to like Fort Lauderdale. They have a very since they tour so much, I was noticing how they were hitting up specifically Florida because I always wanted to see them when they came, and they had a system where they were like, all right, we've been there, let's just go here, let's go there. So that's why I had to drive to Orlando to see them or St. Pete, and then they came back to Fort Lauderdale, and then eventually it must have been, maybe more than 10 years till they came back to Miami and did a show. So yeah, Revolution seems to be the spot where, you know, the limit of how far south artists want to go.
Yeah, like Miami is it's kind of bittersweet because it's so nice here, but it's such a mission to get here.
Yeah, I think it's just logistically, it's hard to, you know, spend those extra couple hours to come down here. And I don't know, maybe people don't also, it's so beautiful here, they don't want to get stuck here. Be like, yo, I'm going to be in Miami, but I got to take off. I don't know what it is, but
yeah.
It's probably logistics. It's most likely logistics.
What do you think about like Miami's music scene at the moment?
Well, when it comes to hip hop, like you have people like Heron bringing all these artists, you know, that it's been really dope to see like all these boom bap 90s artists come down. And but the venues, you know, like, so lately it's just been Churchill's. And, you know, Churchill's isn't going anywhere. It's been there for like, 40 years or something. But, you know, we had the stage, we had Studio A, we had I.O. Lounge, we had all these different spots. And I don't know if we need another home base where we can just have a little bit more consistency. But Churchill's has been holding it down. They've been doing their thing, and
I think that
hosting those events has been a good thing.
Churchill's might arguably just kind of be the one, man. There's so much history there. Like you brought up Aesop. I mean, like just the fact that place, and it's right here, it's 10 blocks away, like, or a little bit more, but like that spot through thick and thin has been just a consistent spot, you know. And
that's what I'm saying. Like these places, like the stage and
the stage isn't even there no more.
No, it's gone. Yeah, Grand Central had a couple shows. That's where I saw the LP. I saw LP. If you go on my Instagram on the Mass Cult Media page, I have a dope picture. Killer Mike and LP did a show before Run the Jewels, and I have a sick pic of
for real before them. That's
I have a sick pic of both of them hanging out, and it's pre Run the Jewels, and you see that pic, and you're like,
you like a reoccurring thing in your a pattern in your backstories is that you were present before in the inception of things.
I don't know, man. Like,
you know,
there's I never thought of it that way, but I just, you know, to quote Kanye, I like dope shit. so you know, when you see, I don't know, like when you see talent, and I just seem to gravitate towards it, or things those are the things that I like. I like things that are. I guess the artists that I listen to all have really high standards, and they're really, really dope, and they're the best at what they do. I mean, look at the names that we're throwing around. I mean, Recognize, Aesop, RJD2, Blockhead, all these people, they perform at the top of they're at the top of what they do. And when I listen to those artists or just even think about their careers and stuff, it's like, I don't know. It's just so beyond what the norm is, you know. People are like, oh, this guy is a good rapper. It's like, yeah, well, listen to this. He's, you know.
That's how I was put on when I was in high school. That's how the homies put me on to like the underground idea atmosphere. All them. Like they're like, yeah, oh, you like, oh, word, you like DMX? Yeah, he's cool. Yeah. Well, what do you think about this?
Yeah,
and they
it's like,
you know, a little burn CD.
Yeah, and the same thing like when it comes to production, like you hear somebody like a DJ Shadow, it's like, wait a second, like that's not normal.
Yeah,
that's not a normal beat. Like that's. Did you ever see the article that was written about the rap vocabulary? Have you seen that?
No.
So somebody they did a data it was a data analyst, and they took all these rappers'
lyrics.
and they analyzed them to see who has the most unique and diverse vocabulary.
Oh
right?
yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
Aesop was number one.
Exactly, and it was so funny because
And DMX was like the last
at the bottom,
one.
yeah, exactly.
I saw that.
So it was real. Like I kind of got the chills when I read that article because, you know, not that this makes you the best MC having the best vocabulary, but it just so happens that my favorite MCs are on the top of that list. You know, it was Aesop, who was apparently off the chart. You know, who's for me, Aesop Rock is the dopest. That's
Yeah.
my opinion, but I do set him apart from other people, and I know it's not for everybody, but for me, Aesop Rock just he does it for me. Like with lyrics, it's just the ultimate.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's like a bunch of Wu-Tang.
Bro, like listen, like Aesop just came out with this record a couple weeks ago called Klutz. You
Yes,
familiar
I
with
saw it. Yes.
So like Klutz, right? Like you know how Apple Music now conveniently you can read lyrics as you listen, like on your screen it'll pop up and you can read it. Like yo, this fool never lost a step, bro.
No, and it
Like,
just it no.
It is just insane. Like you, in a weird way, Aesop. Maybe maybe he has articulated his delivery better, or just the quality of what he's recording on. But like, he seems a lot more clear nowadays.
He is and understandable. Like
But like you read the lyrics, and I don't think dumbed down is possible for Aesop. He's just in that realm of like maybe this dude takes acid or some shit before he writes records.
He used to
It's just-
definitely, but and the thing is that I think his not only the delivery but his. Because he had like, all that abstract things and all this abstract lyrics and all these things that people are like, oh, I don't get him. I don't understand. The Impossible Kid, if you don't understand that album, I don't know. Like, you do have to listen. It's not for the... I like to call it like hip-hop for the advanced listener. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not for everybody. You have to take your time. It's not something that you just throw on in a club or something. It's like, this is headphone music and just listen. And if you know the themes of the songs, you can get it, you know? So The Impossible Kid, I think, is his most clearly, like every song is very clear. The stories are clear, the lyrics are clear, and to me, it's not so abstract like his older stuff where you're trying to figure out, like, what does that bar mean? Like,
well, like even then, like okay, like on Labor Day, is that song where he talks about Lucy?
yeah, that's very
Like,
clear.
Okay, that's a very clear
Straightforward.
storytelling. You know?
Storytelling, straight clear.
And like even though like his music, okay, like a lot of people will be like, well, nah, you know how people throw out, oh, a lot of people. Like, what do you mean you counted them? But it's like, you know how people will be like, oh, he sounds best over Blockhead, or they'll be like, oh, nah, but I like how he sounded over LP production, which is cool too. But man, like ever since he started to make his own beats, I feel like that is him.
Yeah, because
best, you know?
it's him sitting there knowing what he sounds like and what he sounds best on.
That's
you know?
kind of like listen, man, like this project I just came out with Transit City, like, well, I've produced a few of my projects ever since I started to just kind of decide to make my own shit. Like, I feel like even though other people might disagree, which is totally fine, I'm happiest over my own production.
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah,
even
for sure.
even nowadays, like I'll have like some homies that want, oh yo, I'll shoot you a beat. And it's like now it feels a little weird committing to someone else's beat. It's weird.
Yeah, a lot of
you
people.
know?
A lot of people. Like I always listen to interviews with all these people that were talking about Cage or RJD2, and they even 10, 15 years ago they were talking about that. Like it's real easy to send somebody a beat and you rhyme on it, but it's not really organic, and it's not the same as just sitting there with them and picking out samples and just really building it together. If you're doing something like that, so I can imagine if you're doing it for yourself, it's going to be even more intimate. You know, you're just gonna mesh better on that beat because you're digging for that sound that you're looking for.
Like look, like that. You know how he came out with these visuals where like the whole story behind the Impossible Kid is he moved out of New York and moved into a barn, and just took his music equipment and some clothes and that's it.
Yeah.
Like man, I could at the timing of this album, I could totally relate to that because I moved out of Miami and I was essentially living out of my car in North California, and in my car I had all my studio equipment, all my video equipment, like my drone, and I was just riding around with this shit like a maniac. And then like I would rent a hotel room, and me and Rev, or like whoever the fuck, like Nixon when he was this producer, he's a good friend of mine, Nixon. And like we made music in hotel rooms. You get me? Like we'll rent a hotel room, and like the first hour is just setting up all the equipment, and then we'll get something to eat, and then just that's it, bro. Just start making music.
Yeah, it's really interesting because
It's like nomadic music, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of stories like that. There's a lot of artists that do it, and on all different levels. So sometimes you just got to get out of your comfort zone. Even now, I don't even want to do stuff at my house anymore because there's a lot of distractions. You know, you're like, oh, there's the Xbox or there's this, and I just want to get a new laptop so I could like go to a park and edit videos and pictures and stuff, and just sit there with my headphones, listen to music, and not be distracted. Or
that's why people
or get inspired too by the streets or like nature or whatever it might be. You could go to the middle of a park and just sit there and do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, like listen, like you ride around with like the fact that you ride around with your camera on the Ronin Nest and you can just like
capture.
Yeah, and that's what I was doing for the Transit City. Like all the visuals I came out with before I came out with the project is because I rode around on my bicycle with my camera in my book bag and a monopod, and that way at any moment I can just pull over, take it out, capture moments, and like at the end of the day. Like you come back and you have all this city life, all this content, and it's almost like, damn, bro, this is so amazing because you applied yourself, you know?
Yeah, when it comes to photography, that's one of my favorite. I like I said, with the candid stuff or like street photography. It's been so hot lately and rainy and stuff. It's like, man, I need to get out. And then, there's always an excuse to not, like, oh, it's raining. And, it got to the point where it's like, it's raining. I'm going to go out in the rain. I don't even care. Like, you just got to get out there and do it,
That's how it was. Like, you mentioned how, like, oh, that song where I talk about getting caught in the rain. Like, look, man, like, I got on my bike and I rode to the beach. And you know how Miami is. It's sunny. And then in 20 minutes, it's torrential downpour, So, like, I rolled to the beach and I sat there, and then on the way back, the rain caught up to me. Rode my bike to the beach and got rained on. Like, and it's like the
boom, perfect.
And like the whole storytelling of like my style of songwriting is like it's autobiographical.
It's very relatable. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's like
those tracks. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like my day.
And like, and for me, like the trick is discovering the perfect rhymes that are relevant to the story. So it's like to me, that's what makes it so fun and gratifying when I finish another entry of like my life story through music. You feel me? Yeah. So like, I kind of I get the impression that you also look for that in your cinematography. Like you like to capture these moments a certain way.
Yeah, I've actually wanted to start a vlog, but I don't want to be the dude that's like, hey guys, I'm here eating a sandwich. So I have all this footage of like me going out, just like, flying my drone with doing time lapses or doing, like going to Biscayne or Bayside or whatever, like going to some of these parks like Matheson Hammocks or some of these nature, and just I haven't figured out a way to put it together where my idea is really to basically put out episodes of a vlog, but I don't really want to talk. I want the music to tell like the story. And I did a short film for school. I was taking some classes at UM, and that's the vibe of the short film. There's no dialogue. I used like hip hop. I put a really depressing blockhead beat, and I couldn't figure out what to do with the movie. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna film myself going to work. Right? Chopped up. Do you remember Mr. Liff, Live from the Plantation?
Yeah.
I took a couple samples. I was like, rise and shine, yet another day to toss away. And it's me getting on the train, going to work. And then...
So you let the music speak for you.
I let the music speak for me. And the beat is enough. I let the beat ride. It's just me going to work, writing the script to the movie that you're watching. And then the last clip is just me finishing the movie. And it's kind of cliche or whatever, but when you see it, when my professor saw it, he pulled me to the side and he goes, "You," and I go, "What?" He goes, "Dude, you inspire me." I was like, "Bro," and I'm getting the chills now even talking about it. And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Dude, you put it all on the line." He's like, "You showed me what's going on in your head, that you have a 9 to 5 that you fucking hate, and that you want to escape from it, So it took me 5 years after making that movie to finally leave, but it happened, Like I'm gone. I left it, and now I'm just shooting every day. I shoot. And it's happening. So
like would you say that the way that you express yourself through music is like, I guess the underlining theme is just kind of like saying, I don't want to end up being a tool, to like the whole.
Yeah, like I don't mind having a 9 to 5, let's say, if I'm enjoying what I'm doing, but it's almost it's like soul sucking, like having one of these jobs where you don't care for whatever happens there during those hours. it's almost like a dead space of time, 9 hours of a day, and it's really not 8 or 9 hours because it's really 12 because you got to drive to work, you got to drive back home, you got this Miami traffic on that 836, so for that time it's blank, it's a missing space from your life. So if you can figure out a way to escape that and do what you enjoy, even if it is a 9 to 5. Like, I'm not anti 9 to 5. That's kind of ridiculous. We got to eat. But to find something in the realm of what you enjoy, that's kind of the goal, for me. Like, I feel important to mental health pretty much, because going to work every day at something that you don't enjoy, even if you're good at it, I was good at my job. I worked security for a bunch of years. I was great at it, but it's not me, it's not who I am.
Yeah.
I'm this dude that's sitting here right now, with my camera doing a podcast with you. That's more of who I am,
Yeah.
shooting videos and taking pictures and just creating, I make beats too at the crib, like I do all types of stuff. So flying the drone, enjoying life.
I think that like, bro, people just kind of get lost in the sauce, man. Like they know that they gotta eat, and then like the safety, like that feeling of safety, knowing that like,
it's very comfortable. I mean, I was paying my bills. I mean, it's fine. It's I'm not against it, and it was fine, and it worked out great for me,
And then also, like, I mean, not to interrupt, but like I kind of noticed that, and man, like I know a bunch of homies are gonna get mad at me for saying this, but like, most girlfriends, they don't give a fuck about your dream. They just want to make sure that they're taken care of. So then, like, if what you're chasing doesn't pay the bills quick, they're gonna start to be.
Yeah,
like
I'm lucky in that regard because my wife has had my back, and I'll tell you a quick story. It's kind of personal, but when I bought this Ronin, this gimbal right here, I didn't want to tell her. I was like, like I just spent a couple $100 on something,
Yeah.
I didn't want to tell her, and then I told her. I was like, yo, we were eating breakfast one day. I was like, yo, I got this thing coming in the mail. She's like, how much was it? I told her, it's this much. She goes, awesome. What else do you need?
Damn, that's wild, man.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, those things,
like you telling me that is almost making me like, not almost, far from almost, because I have more composure now. But like you telling me that could have easily made my eyes water.
My eyes are watering right now because
like,
it's real.
How the fuck, like, yo, anyone out there, if you have a girl that's even remotely close to being as supportive for something you got going on as Ed's wife,
yes,
bro, hold on to her, bro.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Extremely fortunate, blessed, whatever word you want to use. I am extremely grateful for my wife having my back, and I'm not holding back my tears.
Good.
I'm for real.
Well,
like,
there's a towel back there. So. But yeah, man, like that's great, man.
Yeah,
like
man.
having that type of support system, having like homies that like are down to just kind of like, yo, what do you got going on? Man, I'm just recording a record right now. Word, can I come through? And just to be here,
Yep.
and then tell you, I wasn't crazy about how that word came out. And then like they're there. Like, man, at one point in time, I had homies to ride with me. And like the last relationship that I was in, like for the first few years, man, she was such a supporting person. But after a while, bro, like,
yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
It's hard, and truthfully, like,
understandably hard.
And I don't blame, man. Like I look back at it now, and like I'm like, you know what, bro? Like she deserved better for how supporting she was, and how I, for whatever reason, was not able to deliver the moon how I promised. You know what I'm saying? And like, man, like
I said, man,
yeah.
I'm extremely grateful, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, like that answer, it didn't surprise me, but it was really good to hear when she was like, what else do you need something else?
Damn, that's wild.
Like, yeah, like she's been encouraging me to get other gear, like is there something else that can help you do this? Is there something, do you need backdrops? Like, what do you need? Like, what, can we do family photography? Like, whatever it is, like, can you do family portraits? Like, you're down to do that? Like, yeah, I could do that. All right, cool. Let's see what we can get. Maybe we could do it out of the crib. Maybe you could do it mobile. Like, we bound to, last night, I was working on a little video, and I said, come here, sit next to me. And she sat next to me, and we sat there for like an hour. She helped me edit this little video. And I was like, yo, like, we should do this, Like, she helped me finish this little video. I was just like, does this look good? No, take this out.
Damn,
like-
that's wild.
I was like, damn, this is dope.
you lucky bastard.
I'm very lucky.
That's good,
I
man.
love you, Bielka Vogt,
Like-
my wife.
Shout out to supportive wives out there, man. And like, like low key, bro, like I've had homies, man, like especially here in Miami. And like the thing about Miami is that since we're so predominantly like Southern American culture, Caribbean culture, like Hispanic families, they sacrificed a lot to
For sure.
get to come here and then give birth to us, our generation, to be like, hey, yo, I survived communism, motherfucker. Make some shit happen,
Absolutely.
So then they see you chasing a dream, and like they're happy to see you with that freedom that America is able to provide for you to chase a dream. And then if it ain't working out, to them it's much more discardable of a dream, since capitalism is so safe to establish a living with.
I was listening to a podcast the other day. I forgot which one it was. Probably Rogan, but somebody was saying that why are like there's like a resurgence of people like us, like creatives, because like we seem jaded, like we're jaded by, let's say, our parents' generation, that they work so hard to get what what was the norm to be happy.
Yeah.
And they're not happy.
Yeah.
With their retirement, let's say our parents or grandparents, they retired and they're not happy in the sense of, like what things they might have a house, they might have a retirement and stuff like that, but are they truly, truly, truly happy? And I think our generation that's what the guy was saying, is that our generation realizes that, and that we're trying to do what truly makes us happy. And the open mic the other night was kind of like, the evidence of that, where you see people just coming out to do their thing, like they're creatives that are like, all right, yeah, I have my 9 to 5, but I still gotta, I truly want to sing, or I want to play piano, or whatever it is. I want to rhyme, and that's cool to see. That's really good,
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. Like the duality of, like, our parents worked hard, and it established this foundation that we can safely pursue our creative side.
Mm-hmm.
And at their sacrifice of not really doing that. And honestly, man, like
technology has a part to do with it too, because being able to bang out a beat on a little thing in the laptop and everything is
this is true.
So
yeah, like bro, when the motorized gimbal was invented, I was bugging out. I remember the first time that I saw a video of it, like Yarlin. I don't know if you know who Yarlin is. Yarlin. Shout out to Yarlin. Like she reposted this video of this guy with the Ronin, with the original Ronin, and he was like moving his hands
and
around
the camera
really
just
fast,
still in the
and
middle.
the camera stayed still, and my mind exploded. And like I remember when I bought my Ronin, man, I was in North California. I was up in like Humboldt County, and like I was like, man, I want to go down to San Francisco today to get the video. It's like a 5-hour drive. Yeah. I drove down 5 hours to go to the video store, the main video store there in San Francisco, and I was like, I want to buy a Ronin for this camera. So we tried some single-handed Ronins, but my camera was too heavy for all of them.
Yeah.
He's like, the only one I got left is the Ronin Ronin MX, and I was like, okay, well, how much was it? It was a few $100s more than the single-handed ones, right? And I'm like, damn, y'all don't have like the smaller version of the Ronin, like just the M? They're like, nah, we just got the MX. But hey, you could attach it to this drone that it's compatible with. I'm like, man, fuck that. I'm not gonna put that shit on no drone. So I ended up like, they were about to close, and I was like, fine, let me just get it.
After driving 5 hours?
yeah, and I was like, damn, whatever, let me just get it. So I spent money on that Ronin MX, but once you got it, and I mounted my camera onto it, and I was like, wow, my videos can finally be smooth. Because you know how there's that psychological thing about like handheld shaky footage with like indie, not big production.
Yeah, you could do it when it's necessary. If you want that look, it's not the worst thing. If you want the handheld look, but it needs to fit the shot,
Yeah, like, but I feel like the only time that handheld looks make sense is like when you want to give this like feeling of
Blair Witch
sporadic. Yeah, like, oh, I'm running away from somebody, so let me make the camera shaky. Yeah, but like, yeah, man. I mean, you know what? Now that we're on this topic, I wanted to talk to you about it, because so now, like, are you like, and I'm actually happy that you mentioned that, how you're like, oh, shaky footage makes sense when
necessary.
Yeah, when necessary. Yeah, music videos, I feel like too much of anything is bad. And like there was like a decade of just shaky handheld footage that like Chief Keef made popular, I feel like Chief Keef kind of made that popular, of like a bunch of homies just posted low budget videos. This is what it is, what it is, And then like Currency came out with a bunch of that shit too. But like too much of it, man.
Yeah,
Now,
it's everything in moderation.
yeah, and like now I'm almost starting to see how too much Ronin footage.
No, it's gonna happen because like that feature is really dope, the spin feature. But you're gonna see it like crazy. It's gonna be one of those things. Oh, look, I just hit this button and it's spinning and spinning.
Yeah.
So you just have to use it when you need to use it. You're not gonna have like 20 videos with that shot.
Yeah.
So everything is just using the tools the right way when necessary, getting the shots that are good for the material that you're shooting, because you're not just because the camera does something doesn't mean you have to use it. Some of the best directors out there, Fincher, it's a lot of just tripod, boom. Very rarely does he use moving steady cam and stuff.
Yeah, like listen, man, like another type of visual effect that I kind of got tired of real quick. I'm not hating on no one that does this. You get me?
Of course not.
Like all the listeners, like if you hear me say something that's like I'm talking about, I'm not too enthused about this or that. It's not because I'm hating. It's just not my preference. You get me? Because trust me, when you hear me hating on somebody or something, it's because I genuinely do not like this person. And then at that point, I don't even invest in talking about them. You know? But like. Bro, one thing that I just kind of got crazy. Not crazy. I kind of like got tired of seeing was like just cliche After Effects, bro. Yep. Like the drawing on the screen.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, I thought it was cool the first couple of times I saw it, and I wanted to learn how to do it. I watched a couple tutorials. I was like, oh, that's dope. Yeah. But it got really out of hand.
Like the video that kind of like solidified it for me, where like, all right, this is done. Was Mac Miller has this old song called "Welcome to America" with Joey Badass some years ago. This was when Joey Badass was still young. Welcome to America, motherfucker. Welcome to America. The whole video is just like, a bunch of A-roll footage, and then like
all the squiggly lines and all that.
But they went super hammer on it, and then at that point I'm like,
well, Joey Badass has one. Is it the Christ conscious? That one, I thought it was subtle. Like he has some effects in there, and it's real dope how they did it. So it's like you said, like it's everything in moderation. Like if you need it and it applies, then go for it.
Right.
But
if anything, like I just like the idea of sprinkling things on top. That's it. Like if you look at my visuals, the most like complicated visual that I've come out with was like for my song "Coffee," where like all I did was just play with some like green screen effect, which was, and even at that point, I almost felt like, oh man, this is totally not my approach for visuals, But like, I really like simple cinematography, man.
Yeah, I don't like too many moving parts either. But like I said, if a song or something calls for it, I'm down to try it or whatever. And if it works, it works. But like, I've edited videos and put a bunch of effects and be like, all right, yeah, this transition is so stupid. Like this is not necessary. Just let's just do a cut and that's it.
And like
keep things simple.
If a person does things very well, like whose music videos I'm a really big fan of. There's two guys I'm about to mention. One is A$AP Rocky.
Okay, yeah, he's done some good ones.
His video, like for the song that he just came out with over the Moby sample, A$AP Forever, where it's like there's a bunch of zoom in, zoom out, like whatever. I can't really. Like y'all can watch the video. Yeah. Like that video, I must have watched it like 20 times when it came out, like over and over and over again. I was just blown away by that video. And then another artist is Action Bronson. Like his visuals are like mad fun. Like
Yeah, I'm into watching all these videos and directors. There's actually people on YouTube that I follow. There's a dude, Justin Odisho.
I know him,
bro.
Yeah.
That dude, he does like recaps. He's like, all right, let's see what they did with this video, and I love watching that because, it gives you insight into what they're doing in the industry and seeing how these shots are composed and what tools they're using. I love watching that stuff.
Shout out to Justin Odisho. I chopped it up with him. Like,
he writes back and everything. Like he's really really easy to access and communicate with.
Who's another one that I like to watch too? Peter McKinnon.
Peter McKinnon, I started watching when he had like, I think this first video, the camera hacks. I think he had like 5,000 or 6,000 subscribers at the time. Yeah. And then I just started watching him crazy, and I was like, man, 50,000, 100,000, a million. He's one of the YouTubers that I saw grow probably the fastest, faster than Casey Neistat and all these. He grew really fast. Yeah. I mean, in less than a year, he had 1 million subscribers. That's crazy.
Are you a gearhead?
I'm constantly watching all the. That's why I bought the Ronin S, because I had seen it at NAB and all these CES and everything back in January, February, and I knew it was coming out. and I needed something. Like I was holding back on stuff. Like, oh, I don't even want to shoot. I don't even want to go out. I don't want to do anything because I felt like this was going to be. I needed a not that I needed it, but I wanted a stabilizer to start doing things. You know, make things look a little cleaner. Get like nice steady shots. And I was getting a little antsy, and I was looking at that Zhiyun crane, and I saw people. I used to go out to events and see people with it. I was like, yo, is that the crane? Oh, it looks good. Like, but I knew DJI was coming with something, so I just held off. And they're weird sometimes with their release dates. So even when they announced, like, yo, it's coming, it was like, yeah, when?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I woke up one morning and I had a notification on my phone like, hey, it's available for pre-order.
That's the new release technique. You don't announce a release date. You just talk about when it's coming.
Yeah.
Like DJI could easily be like the hottest rapper in the game if he was one. It's like, man, I remember here a couple days ago you was talking about waiting for like the next drone, and then like they announced the Mavic.
Well, that's what I was
2.
telling you. That tomorrow, yesterday they just announced it, but the thing is that you don't know if they're announcing that it's out or they're gonna announce that it's gonna come out in the fall, or it's just like waiting for it, And they do that purposely because now they came out with a Mavic 2, two Mavic 2s, but where's the Phantom? So everybody's gonna buy this Mavic 2. And who knows if in the fall they drop a Phantom on you.
But I feel like that's like buying a car. That's like, you want to buy a used car, and then like you finally find one that's in your price range that you're happy with. And then you drive off the lot, and like a mile down the road, you see the same car for a couple $100 less.
Of course.
Like, what are you going to do? Return it?
Yeah,
like,
and the thing is, I mean, at the end of the day, like everybody has always said, the best camera, the best gear is the shit you have, People get by with successful let's say YouTube channels or whatever it might be with cell phones, like these some of the footage that I've shot like for events, I've just grabbed shots from my phone. It shoots in 4K. It's good enough for what I'm doing. So at the end of the day, you can have all the gear in the world and not accomplish shit.
There was a guy that pulled up during the Ultra Music Festival.
Okay.
That was a few months ago, and like I had he saw me with my camera. You know how people see you with gear and they ask
today.
you,
Yes.
And he's like, oh, so you shoot? And I explained to him like, well, I make music and this is for my own visuals, And he's like, oh, word, so you don't have somebody to shoot for you? Blah, 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 blah. And whatever, we were chopping it up. But then I showed him my music video for Told Through Rap, you know? Which shout out to Giancarlo for helping me with that video, man. Shout out to Rev too for being in it. And so I was like, yeah, if you want, go ahead and check it out. He's one of these like guys from Europe that get flown here with his whole team, and they get paid thousands of dollars to whatever,
shoot the event, whatever.
So then he came back like he came back like not even an hour later, bugging out, like struggling to like articulate himself because English isn't his first language. He's like, yo, this is insane. This video is shot so well. This is just in 1080. I'm like, yeah, it's just shot in 1080. He's like, man, it's so well. And he started to get into this whole thing about how you can have the latest shit. You can have it shoots in 8K.
It's about storytelling, man.
But like, if you don't know what you're shooting,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, like I remember he was one thing that stuck with me that he said was like, man, like I've been paid to edit video for some people that they shot in 8K, and like, bro, if you're filming a piece of shit, it doesn't matter what resolution it is.
Exactly.
It's shit,
Yeah, Casey Neistat has a video about that, and he's like, look, if it came down to gear, he's like, he goes to his computer and he pulls up like Peter Pan, a Hollywood movie, flops. He's like, these people had unlimited fucking budget, Yeah. And then he shows you a movie that won all types of awards, shot on an iPhone. Yeah. And it's like, it's about storytelling. So if you're able to tell a story with your camera, with your phone camera, that's what people are attracted to, the story. Yeah. It doesn't really, you could nitpick, oh, there's noise. Like you were telling me the other day, like, oh, don't worry about the noise. I'm like, I'm not a big fan of it, but fuck it. If it's there, as long as you're telling the story, people will get it,
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, it's all about story in the end.
I remember for a little while, man, I went down this rabbit hole of like different camera mounts to achieve certain shots. Like one of my favorite shots, I can't remember the name, was so like the guy has like the camera on a tripod mounted to like his belt.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And it's facing him. So he's
Serum shot a video like that.
yeah, he did, but the rig was much more sophisticated.
Okay.
But whatever, like, and so I did that for Coffee, for my music video for Coffee, and I remember the way that I looked it up on the internet was Requiem for a Dream.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
the
crazy
shot where Marlon Wayne's running away, or like when the girl just got finished
Yeah,
giving
yeah.
head to the guy, and she's like, whatever. So like that shot.
Yeah.
And then when I found out how to do it, there was this one guy that he's like, how to DIY, how to do it yourself. He'll get a tripod and a belt.
Yep.
And then one of the legs of the tripod is under the belt buckle, and the other two are like
Yeah, the leverage is holding it up.
Yeah, and then the other two are like on your sides, above your obliques, and then you get another belt to tie them behind you, and then it just kind of holds it there. And I was blown away by that. I'm like, damn, that's crazy how like
There's all types of.
I remember I hollered at like a friend of mine, like, yo, how can I accomplish this shot and that shot? And like he had to kind of like check me on some, like, yo, look, bro, doesn't matter how the fuck you get it rigged up, just get the shot done, you know? You'd be surprised the crazy shit I've done just to accomplish a shot, you know? And that's when I was like a little blown away by it, man.
Yeah, people, you know, and music is the same way. You know, you hear an album, you're like, man, how did this guy do this? He's like, oh, I did it on a little keyboard and Fruity Loops.
Yeah.
The whole album? Yep, the whole album.
Yep.
And it's, I did it in my living room, you know? Like, some of the best stuff is made that way, and it's like, you got to make do with what you have sometimes. And I am a gearhead, and I always want to look for the latest and greatest, and I give myself all these, man, I need a full frame camera, I need this camera, I need that camera, but it's like, right now I don't have that shit. So I make do with what I have and try to get it done.
I almost feel like the most influential creatives, when they like reveal how low budget their production was to create like this amazing piece of art, it almost makes like these high tech companies like you are selling your products the wrong way.
Yeah,
bro.
I mean, even like I'll bring up his name again, David Fincher, who's done mega, you know, Fight Club and fucking Gone Girl. You know, whether you like the movie or not, like that shit was shot super simple, and they edited it like in a house on Premiere. You know, like it's super simple when you hear these stories, and it's like they're saving money. They do actually a lot of, believe it or not, he does a lot of CGI when you don't even realize it, and it doesn't look like CGI. It'll be like a street, and it's CGI, but it's fucking, it just looks natural, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just using the tools that you have to the maximum, you know, to the maximum capabilities of what you have available in your budget. So if your budget is, you know, a crop sensor camera and a Ronin, then that's my budget, and that's what we're fucking with.
Yeah, this is true, man. I think that people underestimate like how much you can still get accomplished with little to nothing. You ever seen the movie Be Kind, Rewind?
Of course. I mean,
you know, with Mos Def and
man.
Jack Black.
Of course.
That movie is just, those are those types of movies that like I feel like teach the best lessons, you know? Like these guys, they had
that's
to
Gondry. That's the director.
Yeah.
He did like I think he did Sunshine, The Spotless Mind, and shit like that. Like
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
I'm pretty sure it's the same dude.
Man, like
This trippy ass, like just weird, you know, super simple. Just the concepts are done. And
are you a fan of like what are your favorite types of music videos? Or is that too like it's just too vague to like really?
Yeah,
pin
music
down?
videos. I mean, I don't know, like music videos are. Yeah, more lately. I've been looking at Hollywood. Like I follow directors a lot, so if I like a movie, I'm like, who made that movie? You know, like, so I follow a lot of directors, and I try to, another YouTube channel that I don't think they've uploaded a lot. It's called Every Frame a Painting.
I love that.
You know about that? Yeah, like
YouTube
we're on the
channel.
same shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think he's uploaded anything at all in a while, but there's still a couple I probably haven't seen. And when you see those, you know, like the Fincher or Scorsese or whatever, and like how they accomplish things, it's really dope to see. Music videos, I haven't gotten into as far as directors. I mean, I'm familiar with everyone. It's funny to, like, I always think about like back in the day, like 90s, like Hype Williams. You know, Hype Williams was, you know, huge when Busta Rhymes and the Puffy. But if you go a little further back, he did like Wu-Tang Clan, Ain't Nothing to Fuck With, and that it's a completely different vibe of these like flashy videos. But you know, like that's the beginning of the career, you know, like those videos that I think he might have done Can It Be Also Simple or these basic, you know, early Wu-Tang videos, and then it just one thing after another.
You know, man, like, listen, like, the reason why I asked was because, like, so, like, you know, for a while, especially when DSLRs were introduced, you know, a lot of people, they jumped on it, and they, you know, I feel like one of the good things about new technology being introduced is that it stimulates the imagination, you know? Like, oh, now I can do this. Oh, and if I can do that, then maybe I can do this else, you know? But, like...
And GoPros, too. Even GoPros, people have been using, you know, like, I think on Humble, that crazy shot that they use.
Oh, on the bicycle?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
the small world.
Yeah, that one. And also, like, the flashing, when he's sitting at the table.
Yeah, what they did was they got, like
four different cameras. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So to see these little tiny cameras, you know, capture these images and then not only to capture what you're capturing, but to fuck with it, you know, like to do something creative. Like, oh man, GoPros can do this. What if we had 4 and we attach them to and fuck with it in you know, in post? That's really dope. Yeah,
like you know, man, when I was driving a lot, like, I don't know if, I mean, no, I haven't really known you for that long, but like a quick little backstory, like the last few years up until when I finally, like, you know, whatever, got arrested, like, I was driving a lot, man. There was a while I had just got broken up with my ex, and like I was sitting on a little bit of money, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna drive a lot. And I drove from here to California, and I would just stop at random rest stops and just kind of be there. I did it like 10 times, you get me? And I like I said, I had all my camera equipment with me, and like, bro, luckily, man, like, for example, my friend Kimber, you know, like, Kimber is one of these friends that, you know how in the cartoons Peter will ask Quagmire, hey, you want to go camping with me just to hang out? And like, for some reason, they have all the free time in the world to just go on these adventures with you, you know? That's kind of how Kimber's like, you know? And he rode with me across the country, and I was like, yo, like, let's film something. And I have kind of like a Steadicam, but like one of those like Chinese, like, competitor, just generic versions of a Steadicam, not the actual brand. And like, my style visuals became like almost like sophisticated home video. Yeah. You know, where it's like just one quick shot. It doesn't really matter if it's shaky or not. It's just about capturing the moment. And then every now and then I look back at the camera and recite some of the lyrics, and then we'll just kind of keep it became that. And then like I came out with this videotape called Let Me Think. It's 4 songs. And like the last song is literally all that it is, because I was in North California. The last song, all that it is for a song called Later. It's produced by the producers. So shout out the producers, because like, no, since I'm telling the story. But like the last record of this videotape is literally just my dog Morty. We're on the mountain. It's a foggy morning, because, you know, high altitude means foggy mornings for all the trees and shit. And like all the video is you see him tied on a leash, and he's just chewing on a stick, and the stick ends up being like a bunch of weed branches. So I'm just tossing weed branches to him while he chews on this one, and then he gets excited and chews on the next one, and then the next one, and then for the third verse, the camera's on him the whole time, and the verse is this quick pan, and it's me sitting on top of like a barn, and it's this barn that was used to dry weed at, you know. And I'm there with my big ass beard, and I'm just rapping while holding on to this long ass rope, which is the rope that my dog was tied to. And like that one take, it tells this little story. Yeah. You feel me?
Yeah, super simple.
And like, even though initially, because there's 2 types of people, there's 2 types of critics. You know, there's people that like it and don't like it. And the people that like it, they get it. The people that don't like it are very quick to like recommend what you could have, should have, would have done to appease what they would have liked, you know. And it's like at that point I'm like, you know what, man, if you don't like it, that's totally fine.
Like I'm all about like you know, constructive criticism is cool, but there's some people out there who just want to hate, you know.
Yeah,
because like recreational haters.
Yeah, for real. Like they just want, like, it makes them feel better to know that their opinion, like,
yeah, you should do this. Yeah. You should do that. It's like,
that
you
way,
do it. That way, you do it, bro.
That way that if you do ever do it, they can say, yeah, I told them to do that. Yeah. You know? And
there's people out there. I don't mind those. Pay no mind to those people.
Yeah. Or if, I mean, not that pay no mind, but like pay mind with a grain of salt.
Gotcha.
You know? Like that. I mean, that's just my take on it. I mean, whatever. Yeah. But like, yeah, man. So like those little quick point and shoot videos, I feel like if done right, they do a lot. But if done wrong, then you have all these just try and fail music videos that like in their mind, they're like, yeah, this is gonna be the next big shit, blah, 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 blah. A big ass release date, finally releasing this video 2 weeks from now. Get ready, guys, mark your calendars. And then when it comes out, it's just like,
I kind of like this Garcia recently. He started a new Instagram page paying like tribute to all the old school videos, and he's just been posting mad videos. So I've been following that. He gives like little informational tidbits on on the video, on the background story. So that's dope to keep in mind, and all these videos that we all grew up with. Whether it's Guns N' Roses or fucking Wu-Tang or different directors and what was going on at the time and the concepts. Because a lot of videos people write these treatments and these scripts like, it doesn't have to match the song always, It's like, I have this idea, it'll be dope, and you just have them like there to have for different artists or whatever. So those are pretty dope to see the backstory on some of these older videos. It's pretty interesting. It's a dope. I think it's what's the name of the page? Music video page or something like that.
I'm not sure. But I mean, like, it is cool to get little backstories. I feel like giving too much backstories takes away from some of the magic.
I get you, but it's just enough.
Yeah, just enough. Yeah,
on Instagram is just enough. You see a clip and then you get this little like almost like a Wikipedia like little glimpse into like, this person was going through this at the time, and that's why this video is like that. It's like, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah, see, that is cool.
Yeah, I like that.
If anything, that's like supportive lore, to it. But like, for example, like some artists that I'm not really trying to like name drop because but like there are some artists that like, man, when they get questioned about like some of their past work, they're quick to like shut it down. Like, nah, that sucks. Nah. Well, that. Oh my God, I was so bad back then. It's like, yo, don't say that. Like, or choose to omit that.
Yeah,
because
I'm guilty because I'm like, oh yeah, back then I didn't know. I didn't know this, I didn't know that. But yeah, I get it.
It's just like if someone asked me about something that I did that was a long time ago, like, and they're like passionate or they're enthusiastic about it, like, why would I?
Yeah, just shit on yourself.
Yeah, destroy that for them. If anything,
you got to be positive. Like, yeah, man, that was a good time.
Like, that's, to me, like, that, man, it's just crazy how like a different approach can make or break the perception.
Yeah, I'm tough with compliments. I'm like, sometimes somebody will be like, hey, that's a nice haircut. It's like, shut up, dude. Shut up.
Man, I feel you, man. Like, bro, like, I feel like that's something that I could totally walk away with too, bro. Like, for example, like back to this little open mic, I walked away with that. I walked away from that open mic feeling conflicted,
No, you shouldn't have, man. As a person coming in for the first time, and I mean, it was the first one, but I'm saying for me, like, it was a cool experience. I think I met somebody this morning. He had a camera, and I told him about the open mic. I was like, dude, like in 2 weeks, we're gonna have another open mic. You should come through. He's like, oh yeah, there's a little bar back there, right? I'm like, yeah, come through. He's like, yeah, for sure. I was like, it'll be good to shoot, take some pictures. I have another dude that knew about it, and he's like, yo, is it cool if I come with my camera? And like, I was like, yeah, come through, dude, just come by. It's a chill vibe, nice people. I met new people.
Yeah. My bad. Apparently they're killing people outside.
That's okay. Yeah. It's Miami.
But yeah, we actually, you know what, man, on that note, it's probably good that we wrap it up because we've been talking for more than an hour already.
Killed it. Dope.
So,
thanks for the opportunity, man.
Yeah. If it keeps getting noisier, just talk louder over the ruckus. What your social media is?
Ed Vogt Media. Yeah. On Instagram, edvogtmedia.com, and I also have my Mask Cult Media, which is maskcult_media. It's a separate Instagram account that I opened up to separate because I do a lot of landscape photography and event photography and all these things, and the hip hop stuff wasn't. It didn't the mix. It'll be like you see this beautiful Miami skyline and then like Raekwon smoking a blunt. So it was like too mixed up. So I was like, you know what? I love hip hop. I love fucking going to the events. Let me make a separate Instagram. Yeah, just for that.
Well, it's the way it sounds. Mask Cult.
Yeah, media. It's Mask Cult, one word. Media _media.
Okay, and then yours is Ed Vogt.
Ed Vogt, yeah. So it's Ed Vogt Media. Yeah, there you go. Straight across. Word up. Hit me up if you guys want to shoot. I got drone footage, whatever you need.
Hey,
So,
All right, well-
and thanks for the opportunity, dude. This was great.
Nah, for sure, bro. You know, like I'm looking forward to collaborating with you, man. For real.
Yeah, we're gonna be working on
You
some
know?
videos.
You know how like some people they'll be like it'll be like a video of them in the same frame. Like let's say it's like Raekwon with some other rapper, and then the other rapper is like, yeah, nah, we working, and it's like you just see on Raekwon's face, he's like, nigga, no, we ain't. You know, like I try to stay away from that whole
I hear
like
you.
announcing to the world like that I want to work with somebody and then nothing comes from it. But for real though, like
No, this is good.
I definitely see myself rocking with you, man. So yo, with that being said, guys, holler at Ed Vogt on social media. Follow Medianoche Podcast on Instagram. Also Art Morera, youtube.com/Art Morera TV, blah blah blah. All right, y'all, we out of here, guys. Peace.
Thank you.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.
Medianoche.
Podcast.
Medianoche.
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 Podcast.